Here is a fact most people never hear. In 2003, only 2% of fighter pilots in the United States military were women. 2%. And yet, the morning a commercial aircraft full of 312 passengers almost fell out of the sky over John F. Kennedy International Airport, the only human being on Earth who knew how to bring it down safely was one of them. Her name was Captain Renata Voss. She was 37 years old. She had a white scar above her left eyebrow from a helmet strap that snapped during training, and 3 weeks before that morning she had been grounded. A few years after the incident, a woman named Doris Mann, 62, silver-haired, a retired air traffic controller from Queens, sat down and wrote Renata a letter. She had kept it folded inside a wool coat for months before finally mailing it. This is what it said. Dear Captain Voss, I don't know if you remember me. I was the voice in your headset that morning. Tower frequency, JFK, I've thought about you every single day since. I need you to know what I saw. Renata Voss grew up in a brownstone on Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn, 4th floor, the kind of building where the radiator clanked all winter and snow gathered on the fire escapes like it had nowhere else to be. Her father worked the MTA, her mother cleaned offices in Midtown. Every morning Renata walked past the bodega on the corner, the one with the handwritten sign in the window that said fresh coffee no waiting, and she would look up at the planes turning over Jamaica Bay and think about what it would feel like to be inside one of those turns. She became a Navy aviator at 24. She flew FA-18s. She logged over 2,000 hours in the seat. Her commanding officer, a man named Colonel Marcus Birch, 49, thick arms and a rigid jaw, wrote in her review that she was technically gifted but tactically reckless. He used the word aggressive 4 times in the same paragraph. What he meant was that she didn't wait. She saw the problem and she moved. 2 years later, she was grounded on a paperwork decision that still, to this day, nobody can fully explain. She was working as a civilian instructor at a regional flight academy near LaGuardia when it happened. January, a Thursday. She was eating a bodega breakfast sandwich in the parking lot, watching the steam rise from a subway grate on the street corner when her phone rang. It was an old contact at the FAA. His voice was flat and fast. Renata, we have a situation, pilot incapacitation on a widebody. Crew is there but nobody has landed this variant in actual crosswind conditions at JFK. Wind is gusting 42, we need someone who has. She said, who else you got? He said, we've been through the list. She was already in her car. She arrived at JFK in 11 minutes. The aircraft was in a holding pattern. The first officer had landed this plane exactly once. In good weather, in Phoenix. The crosswind that morning was stacking and shifting. The runway surface had ice in patches. 312 people were up there sitting in rows wondering why the descent kept getting delayed. Doris Mann in the tower was calm, she had to be, but her hands were shaking. Renata put on the headset. She asked for the aircraft's weight. She asked for the fuel state. She asked which runway they were using and she closed her eyes for 4 seconds. Put me through to the first officer, she said. His name was Drew Calloway. He was 28. His voice sounded like someone trying to sound older than they were. Drew, listen to me, you know how to land this airplane. I've never done it in this. I know, but your hands already know the inputs. Don't think, react, I'll talk you through every foot of it. What if I'm wrong? Then I'll correct you, I'm not going anywhere. And then something shifted. She stopped talking fast. She started talking slow, one instruction at a time, calm and complete, like she had all the time in the world. Drew brought the aircraft down through 800 feet, 600, 300. She told him when to correct, when to hold, when to wait. The gusts tried to push the nose off centerline twice. Both times she called it before it happened. The wheels touched on the numbers, smooth, exactly on the center stripe. In the tower, Doris Mann sat down in her chair and did not speak for a full minute. Outside the window on the tarmac, a ground crew standing by just started clapping. Nobody told them to, they just did. 312 people never knew how close it was. Doris wrote, I've worked in that tower for 22 years. I've heard a lot of voices on that frequency. Yours was different. It wasn't the loudest, it was the stillest. And I think I finally understand something I didn't understand before. The people who get called too aggressive are sometimes just the ones who already know what everyone else is still figuring out. You weren't reckless, Captain Voss, you were just early. Doris mailed the letter on a Wednesday. By Friday, Renata had written back. One page handwritten on lined paper torn from a notepad. The narrator pauses, a moment of quiet. And at the bottom of her reply, below all the formal words and the thank yous, Renata had added a short note. It wasn't polished. The handwriting slanted. She had crossed one word out and not replaced it, but what it said was this: I was grounded because I moved before they were ready. That's not a flaw, that's just a timing problem, and timing problems fix themselves eventually. If you know what you're doing, the world catches up. If this story landed with you the way Renata landed that plane, quietly, completely, exactly where it needed to be, please give it a like. Leave a comment and tell us about a time you were told you were too much before someone realized you were exactly enough. And if you're new here, subscribe to Soul Relief Stories. We put up a new story every day. We will see you in the next one.